Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I recently attended a Real Techniques masterclass with Australian makeup artist Sarah Laidlaw, and I was really surprised to learn how many people are still using their fingers to apply their makeup. Now, I know in some instances it's good to use your fingers. I like to sometimes use it to apply pigments to my eyelids, but overall, using a makeup brush is just going to give you a really flawless finish. So, in this video, I've decided to do a quick get ready with me using only Real Techniques brushes so I can show you exactly how they work. Now, I had a few Real Techniques brushes in my collection, but I was kindly gifted a few of the sets so I can create a look for you guys. Now, one thing that I learned at the masterclass is that the sets are actually color coded, which I never knew. I thought they were just pretty colors. So for example, the orange set here is all about the base, but then the purple set is for the eyes, and then the pink set are your finishing brushes. So it makes it really easy to know which brushes that you need to reach for depending on what stage you're at in your makeup look. Real Techniques is Australia's #1 makeup brush brand, and they are completely cruelty-free. Now you can pick the range up from Priceline or via their website at realtechniques.com. Now, you can buy the brushes either individually or as a set, but I always find the sets are such good value. For example, this set here, which is the Flawless Base set, is $47.50. So you get the 4 brushes, and to be honest, if I had to go out and either buy these separately or go buy a different foundation brush, I know I would be paying a lot more than that. So let's go ahead and get started with the look. I went ahead and prepped my base off camera so we can get straight into it. Now I'm going to start with the Flawless Base brushes. Now the sets come with this little brush holder, which I think is super convenient. And if you're ever worried about not knowing which brush to use, don't even think about it, because each brush actually tells you on it what it is used for. So this one here is a buffing brush. Then we have the square foundation brush here. This one is the contour brush. And then we have a detailer brush. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this square foundation brush. Now, it's been a long time since I've used a brush to apply my foundation. I'm used to using a damp beauty sponge. So let's see how this goes. Some products are designed to be applied with brushes, and you'll probably notice that some base products and foundations just generally work better with a brush or a sponge. It just depends how they're formulated and designed. Another benefit of using a brush over a sponge is that you often don't get as much product wasted. The sponge can absorb a lot of product, but with a brush, it literally picks up and deposits exactly what you need. Now to go ahead and create that really flawless base, I'm going to go ahead and use the buffing brush and just take a small amount of foundation on it and just work it over the top and press it into the skin. This will just remove any harsh lines that the square brush may have created. Now for concealer, I'm going to go in and just use the wand on my concealer brush just to apply it to my face. But then I'm going to go back in with that same buffing brush and I'm just going to pat it over the top. I'm not going to blend it too much or like drag it. I'm just gently pressing it in just to fuse it out. So that is my base complete. I'm keeping it nice and natural today, so I'm not going to do any heavy contouring. So now I'm going to go in and do my eyes using the Real Techniques eye set. So for my eyes, I always like to go in first and prep my lids just using a natural or neutral eyeshadow. So I'm going to use the Real Techniques medium shadow brush And this is going to just make it really easy to pop a wash of colour just all over the lid. I then like to go ahead and put a wash of colour through the crease, which also acts as a transition shade. So I'm going to be using the Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush, which is like a nice little domed fluffy brush. And I think I'll go in with a peachy orange shade. And just use like back and forth window wiper motion. And then if you need to soften any of the edges, just go back in with the neutral shade on the medium shadow brush and just lightly work over the top. Now for the outer corner of my eyes, I'm going to go ahead and use the shading brush and just pick up a warm brown shade and just place it on the outer corner. And don't feel bad if the shadow looks a little messy. Just go back in with that crease brush and again, just soften the edges. That's the great thing about these brushes. You can always just keep going back and forward until you create a nice blended and flawless finish. And because we haven't set our base yet, if you do happen to get a bit of fallout or anything else, just go back in with the buffing brush and just lightly brush it away. So now I'm going to go ahead and use the Real Techniques smudge brush to apply a bit of a shimmer to the inner and center of my lid. Now with these kind of shades, I just like to pack them on. Sometimes with shimmers, when you start to blend them out, you don't get that concentration of product. And just lightly kind of fuse that in with the brown on the outer corner. The great thing about these brushes is the fact that you have a lot of control and they aren't too big. So you can work small and build up, which is always good because especially with makeup, once you go in with too much, sometimes depending on the color, it can be hard to reverse it. So by working small and having control and precision with the brushes, it'll just create a really, really flawless look. So let's go ahead and do under the eyes, and I'm going to use the Precision Smudge Brush. Now this is just going to help to really place the product close to the lash line, and then I'll probably use one of the other shader brushes just to fuse it out. So I'm going to go in with that same brown, starting on the outer corner, and work that into the lash line. Now for the inner corner, I'm going to apply a bit more of that shimmer, just using the smudge brush. So I'm going to press that in there. It deposits just the right amount of colour and product. And then I'm going to go in with the original shading brush I used with the brown. I'm not going to pick any more product up, but I'm just going to take it underneath the lash line. And that's just going to fuse and just put any remaining product under the eyes just to create a really soft wash. So that's pretty much the eyeshadow complete. I'm just going to jump off camera and put on some mascara and lashes, and then we'll go back to the base. Okay, so now I have some lashes and brows on. I'm feeling a little more put together, but let's go ahead and warm up this complexion with some bronzer. So I'm going to go ahead and use the sculpting brush, and that's just going to allow me to place the bronzer exactly where I want it. So I'm just going to go along the cheeks, blending it into the hairline. Now, because I do tend to get oily through my T-zone, I'm going to go ahead and use the setting brush and just put on a little bit of loose powder and just lightly set over the top. Another tip that Sarah gave us is to lightly set just around this part of the face, because there tends to also get a bit of shininess through the day, just kind of under the apple of the cheek and towards the nose. And I find that that really helps just to control any shine later on. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit of blush, and I'm going to go in with one of the brushes from the face set, which is the contour brush. Now this is just a domed brush. Again, I'm just going to pick up a little product. I could have also used this brush for my bronzer as well, but I just like the shape of the other one. Now for my favorite part of any makeup look, and that is highlighter. So for that, I'm going to go in with the fan brush, and I'm going to pick up a bit of product and lightly dust it over the high points of the face. See how it just places it nicely on the cheekbone? It's not too intense. And you can just bring it up over the top of the brow and on the brow bone, just to give a bit of shine. And this is the finished look using some of my favorite makeup products and Real Techniques brushes. What do you think? Isn't it great to see just how easy it is when you use brushes to create such a flawless finish? I just love, especially with my eyeshadow, how it fuses them all together. It blends them really nicely, and you just get such a nice result. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the brushes or products I use, definitely let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to join me on my beautiful adventure.